Time to play the game. Da-da-da, da-da-da. We all know that the build-up to WrestleMania 41 has been garbage, but Triple H has come out and he has gave a reason for that, and that's because the game to WrestleMania had some extra DLC. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. We're here to talk about the build to WrestleMania. We're here to talk about, yet again, another Triple H excuse, rather than this guy just coming out and maybe being honest for once, maybe openly admitting, you know what, I haven't actually delivered this year. Last year, I was better. This year, I'm not so good. You know, he doesn't have to come out and completely say the product sucks and that I'm useless and that I'm this and that I'm that and this Mania is going to suck. But if there's questions being asked, if people are bringing it to his attention here, why is this Mania not feeling as good as last year's? And maybe Triple H could be a little bit more honest about it, but he's not. He's tried to spin things. He's gave a reason as to why this year's WrestleMania build-up has felt, in his own words, slightly weird. And we're here to talk about it today, but we're talking about this after WrestleMania Night 1. So before we look into what Triple H said and we break down what he said, have you any thoughts on Night 1? Have you changed your mind after Night 1, after getting a decent sleep, 8 hours in the bank?
Weird is a 5-letter word, so shite. So I'm going to stick with that verdict.
S-H-I-E-T-E.
I slept on it, right?
Sixer.
I could have a million sleeps. You know, it could be 2040, it could be 2041, it could be 2050. It doesn't change the fact this was shite. I'm never going to look back at this. You know what I mean? This isn't a simple case of, you know what, I didn't appreciate one or two matches. It's actually going from a 1 out of 10 to a 6. That will never happen. It was crap. We all know it was crap. That is not a WrestleMania card. The showcase of the Immortals, folks. Yeah. The fucking showcase of the Immortals.
For me, the opening match, boring. We've seen it before. Could have happened on Raw. Not a Mania level match. Gee, so Gunther. The next match is not even a premium live event match. I'd argue the New Day Viking Raiders. See, that is something I wouldn't even want to see on Raw. That is something, if that match got hyped up for Raw, if we were sitting down to watch Raw and they said, oh, tonight we're getting a title match, I'd be like, well, there's one more reason to go to bed. Yep. So that's not even a match that should be on Raw, never mind Mania. Absolutely sucked. I mean, Jade Cargill versus Naomi. I mean, the story's been all right, but at the end of the day, Naomi is a glorified jobber, and Jade Cargill is still green, unproven, just coming back from injury. I feel like her whole run in WWE, there's no momentum there. Came in, pretty much just got paired with Naomi and Bianca because I guess she's black, so she needs to team up with 2 other black women, and then just had a tag team run to try and hide her lack of experience and ability in the ring. And once you get teamed up with somebody in a tag team, that's WWE. That's not a good sign. Oh, but she won the tag team title. No, no tag team. Unless you're a tag team, being in a tag team is not a good. It's just not good. Unless it's like something groundbreaking, like the 2-man power trip, right? Or your legit kayfabe brothers like Undertaker and Kane. That's the only time that getting put in a tag team is a good thing for you, right? Jade Cargill, maybe she will improve now, maybe she'll get a singles run, but her career in WWE so far, very, very lackluster. And like I said, Naomi, jobber. Jacob Fatu.
Well, hold on, me address it. Naomi last year was in fucking TNA. That tells you all you need to know. And not a big part of TNA, a diddy part of TNA. And even if you are the big part of TNA, I mean, as much as I love Joe Hendry, right? And it's like, see him against The Miz, would it have helped Ivor Knight? Yeah. But am I going to sit here and fucking pretend that it would have elevated Ivor Knight to being good? Of course it would.
No.
And Jade Cargill, what the fuck's she done? Does she have half a look to her? Yeah. If she got better and you gave her a belt, could she be treated a wee bit more serious? Yeah. Did this story warrant the title? Hell, did the title warrant a story worthy like this? Yeah. But the problem is, this is fucking mid-card city, man. This screams like the sort of match that would be on fucking Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, right. I mean, LA Knight, Jacob Fatu, LA Knight's United States Championship run, absolutely garbage. Was doing nothing with the belt, beat a couple of Mexicans, then lost to Nakamura, then won it back in his first attempt, then done nothing with it, defeated Solo Sikoa twice, and then lost to Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, not a WrestleMania level match. and there's been no feud there, no story, no build. I know a lot of people love Jacob Fatu and they like to pretend that he's the next big thing, but he's just a fat Samoan that bobbles his head and done time in prison because he's not a nice guy. So that's
a fucking waster.
That's all that Jacob Fatu is.
He rocks up with balaclavas. He rocked up with a mask he'd buy at a fucking Poundland last night. So this guy is just a fucking bum.
Right.
And you know what? See this match though. See if it was a part of like a 9-match card and it was like the 8th or 9th worst match, you'd be like, you know what? US title match. All right.
Some people are saying this is the best match.
Yeah, some people. Like, if we're being honest, right, it is as high as second, and it's probably as low as fourth of like an 8-match card, and that's the problem. That's the problem right there. See, when you look back at Mania X7, right, see as much as you like Jericho and William Regal, right, and yeah, that's fucking superior to this. Don't get it wrong. But see when you compare Regal and Regal and Jericho and like Test and Guerrero. No one's putting that second at Mania X7.
Yeah, they were just decent matches, but they were down the card. You know, they weren't. No one was saying, "Oh, that was the best match" or the second best match. El Grande Americano versus Rey Fenix, just an absolute throwaway match. I mean, literally was a throwaway match that took place at the last second.
Oh, but Vikingo.
And let's not pretend.
Actually, he's called Vikingo. I keep calling him Vikingo.
I don't give a shit what he's called. Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano would have sucked as well. So it's not a Rey Fenix thing, but I mean, Rey Fenix
maybe it's a Rey thing.
Rey Fenix did make it slightly worse.
Prick called Rey.
So screw that shit. Then we got Charlotte Tiffany. I mean, on paper, it could be a WrestleMania match, but the feud was absolutely bogging. The story was bogging. I mean, what were they arguing over? I mean, she won the Rumble, and then they basically just had some petty real life feud with Diggs and shit like that, and the match absolutely sucked. And then we had the main event, which was I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say it wasn't good, but tell you what, it was a finisher spam fest. And if AEW done that, they'd be getting called out saying, "Oh, these guys can't wrestle," and it's just finisher after finisher with no selling. So listen, night one I thought sucked. I can't remember exactly what the point of me was breaking that down there.
You just wanted to revisit it after a couple of hours.
Aye, well, I revisited it and it wasn't good, right? I stand by. I gave it a 2 out of 10. I stand by that rating. But here's what Triple H says about this year's WrestleMania build being slightly weird. Triple H said the following when speaking to Peter Rosenberg, quote, "This WrestleMania build is slightly weird because there's an additional 2 weeks from Rumble to Mania that normally isn't there. And you had all these other shows. January 6th, Netflix premiere. All the weeks of Netflix that were there after that. Saturday night's main event. You add in all these other things, so you sort of had to systematically roll things out in little bits and pieces. So it's a different build. Usually you're just, here, go with that, boom, put your foot on the gas, and here we are. Usually, 2 weeks out from WrestleMania, you're like, well, fuck, I feel like we're already there. And now you're trying to figure out how to do that shit that's not redundant. Add 2 or more weeks to that now, so we just had to be judicious with how we do things. So with some of the things that are their places where you can be like, seems like this took off and then it leveled out, and then it's going to take off again. So strategic storytelling that in that moment of time you don't really see or get, we'll see if it works. End of quote. So that is what Triple H had to say about Mania. What's your first thoughts on it?
Well, it's just bullshit. And, they knew the dates in Mania, last Mania. They knew the Rumble dates. They knew the Chamber dates. They knew when Raw was coming out on Netflix, right? So that's no excuse. And also, it's not like 2 weeks ago they hit the peak of Road to WrestleMania and it's fell off. They never hit Dick. They never did nothing. It's never felt like anything. And also, see when the Rumble is on the 1st of February, right? And after it, they basically come out within the first couple of days and announce every match for Mania, which is like, 10 weeks away. No wonder you struggle to build it. How the fuck do you not build a story in 10 weeks, by the way? No, like we've said before, right? There is no reason why Gunther and Cody Rhodes could not have had championship matches up to like a month ago. Up to at least the Chamber. And then build the Mania story. Problem is, see Gunther and Jay, we've already seen it 100 times. So what's the need of building their story for the past 10 weeks? How many times, right, out of the 10-week build did it end with Gunther just coming out and locking Jay in a sleeper hold in like the first 10 minutes of the show?
I'd say the first half of that 10-week build, it was Jey Uso feuding away A-Town Down,
Well, true, that
who
is
have
true.
just disappeared off the face of the earth for some reason. But let's actually break down what Triple H was saying here, and we'll get from we'll cover every little excuse that he made. So first of all, he said that there's an additional 2 weeks from the Rumble to Mania that normally isn't there. All that tells me is you had 2 extra weeks to make the feuds better and build them bigger, and make amends for things that you maybe hadn't done going into Mania. And what did you do with those 2 weeks? You wasted them. People were saying, oh, look at this feud hasn't been fleshed out, this feud hasn't been done, this feud hasn't been that. Well, Triple H says they had 2 weeks more to do it, so, I mean, what took them so long?
I'm going to call bullshit. You know why? How many times did we say during that European tour they just repeated the same stuff? It's almost like...
No, well, we'll get to that. That's different.
It's almost like you filled the fucking 2 week gap
We'll get to that in a minute. But, look, it's not like every feud that's going into Mania has been going too long. Some of the feuds have barely went out. I mean, Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight. That's not been going for 10 weeks.
No.
New Day versus the New Day versus the War Raiders. That's not been going.
No.
El Grande Americano literally turned up not even that long ago. So you're looking at a lot of this stuff, and you can't turn around and say, oh, well, here, it's because it all dragged out. A lot of the stuff hasn't been going on long enough, so, I mean, that's all bullshit right there. He then says you have all these other shows. He says you have the January 6th Netflix premiere, right? His argument might be the January 6th Netflix premiere feels like a big show. He could say that feels like a premium live event. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just another Raw. And, secondly, it actually happened before the Royal Rumble. So how does that affect the build-up from the Rumble to WrestleMania when that happened 3 weeks before the Rumble? Doesn't make any sense. He then went on to say all of the weeks of Netflix that were after that. So basically, all the other Raws that were just happened to be on Netflix instead of the USA Network, or instead of Fox, or instead of TNT, or whatever cable network, is out there. So he's trying to suggest that Mania was weirder and more difficult to book because the Raws were on Netflix and not because they were on cable television. What sense does that make? Absolutely no sense whatsoever. He then adds in Saturday night's main event. When was the Saturday night main event?
I think it was like the 20th of January, around about that time.
So it's before the Royal Rumble again?
Yeah.
So it was
a fucking throwaway event anyway.
And it was a bunch of jobbers on it. So it wasn't... How does that affect the build from the Rumble to Mania? Which is what he's saying was the problem here. When that happened before the Rumble. Doesn't make any sense. He says, you add in all these other things and you sort of had to systematically roll things out in little bits and pieces. Then he says about putting your foot on the gas. And he says that usually when you get 2 weeks away from Mania, you're like, well, fuck, I feel like we're already there now. I mean, I disagree, because back when wrestling was good, the closer you got to Mania, the better the shows got.
Yep.
The go-home shows always gave you good shit.
Yeah.
So for Triple H to say, oh, once you get 2 weeks away, you've already done everything and there's nothing left to do, that's bullshit.
Half the matches weren't even made.
Yeah, maybe under him, maybe his booking, that's the case, but traditionally, that's not how it works. And then he goes on to say about how when you're like 2 weeks out that you've already done everything. And he said, let me just get this quote correct here. Right, he says, well, fuck, I feel like we're already there. And now you're trying to figure out how to do shit that's not redundant. So he says, you don't want to get pedal to the metal, gas to the wall, because then you get 2 weeks away from WrestleMania and you're sitting there struggling, thinking, how do we do shit that's not redundant? AKA, how do we do shit that we haven't done before? He done that regardless. We've seen a Cody Rhodes, but more so with the women's triple threat. Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley literally cut the exact same fucking promo and segment for like 4 weeks in a row, where it led to Io Sky getting pie-faced and disrespected. So, I mean, what is he talking about here?
I've been disrespected. We've been fucking disrespected. He's a bullshit artist, man. It's just gas.
Oh, we need to make sure we don't get there 2 weeks too soon so we don't do redundant shit. The whole build, was redundant with the stuff that had already been booked. I mean, it was the same fucking shite. Like you said, it was literally week after week. Jey Uso taking on one version of A-Town down, and afterwards Gunther would sneak attack him from behind.
The nipples.
Cena only turned up. Well, what's his excuse with Cena? Because
he wasn't there.
He's on about all these shows. He's on about an extra 2 weeks. He's pretty much saying, oh, you had about 12 weeks of build, plus these extra shows from the Rumble to Mania. Cena only had 3 Raws and 1 SmackDown, so that's 4 shows. So what the fuck is this guy's excuse for the John Cena Cody Rhodes build being shite?
No.
You can't turn around and say, oh well, we'd 3 months. Cena had 4 shows.
Yeah.
So why see the 4 shows that he was there? Why couldn't you have gave us fucking full speed ahead? You know, pedal to the metal, no filler, just killer shite with Cena and Cody.
No, of course.
But what did they do? First 2 weeks, cut the exact same promo. No word of a lie. Cena came out, said his part. Cody came out to say his part. Cena walked off with his tail tucked between his legs.
Right, this was the first year that I can ever remember that the Royal Rumble was in February. So that got pushed back due to Mania. And also, more often than not, the Chamber is in February as well. But this year it was in March. I get it. It was the start of the months, right? But that helps. And like we said at the beginning, see, instead of repeating the same shit for like 10 weeks, which they did with some of the matches they announced straight after the Rumble, why not have Gunther in a feud? You know what I mean? Why not have Gunther? Why can't Gunther defend his belt in the Chamber? You know, see if you want to give, but then what's incredible, right? They gave us Jey Uso Gunther. They announced that on like the 2nd of February, right? But then Cody Rhodes Cena, that's the one they give less time to, considering the fact Cena's not going to be appearing.
Yes, but also see the fact that WrestleMania is now 2 nights, and that means there's more matches. Should having more time not be a good thing for Triple H? Plus, Raw's on Netflix, and he literally said he can stop it whenever he wants.
Yep.
And it's not like Raw's been going 3 hours every week on Netflix.
2.5.
So, what's his problem? He's like, oh, the great thing about Raw being on Netflix is we can end it whenever we want. We can end it for the perfect time that suits us. But now he's coming out and making excuses saying that they had too much time. Well, first of all, with Raw, you can end that show whenever you want. And second of all, if SmackDown being 3 hours if that's a bad thing, if that kills your product, then you've got no one else to blame but yourselves, because you're just a greedy, money-making bastard of a company that doesn't care about fans, doesn't care about the quality of the product, doesn't care about nothing apart from making money. Oh, it's the largest gate. Well, you're ripping fans off. No wonder it's the largest gate. And you're going to lie tonight and say you had another sellout and, another largest gate. I mean, it's not hard to do your biggest gate every single week when the ticket prices are going up like 100%, 200%, 300%. From show to show.
No, but what's fucking weird about it, right? How can... No, but like we said in the review last night...
No, but hold on. See if McMahon was there and you had an extra 2 weeks, would McMahon not feel that's a good thing? Or anybody... Like, see if it was me and I was writing WWE and I was head booker. See if I looked at the calendar and somebody said, you do realise we've got an extra 2 weeks of build between the Rumble Mania this year? I'd be going, fucking better. Brilliant, we can get more stuff in.
I know.
But he views this as an excuse to, it's whatever.
But not the hang.
But see if people were praising it. See if this build up was good. He'd be like, we want it to fit in an extra 2 weeks. We wanted to put more effort in this year, so we got an extra 2 weeks so we could build and flesh out the stories even more. And he'd use the extra 2 weeks to an advantage, like, oh look, we decided to do this, but because the build-up's been shite, he's using the extra 2 weeks as an excuse. It's really poor. It's piss poor for Triple H.
Well, I said, I can't remember what I was going to say there, but it's like, as we pointed out last night, this show is for kids and, people that are not mentally all there in the head. They'll read this, right, and be like, oh, Triple H is the man. He's right. It was weird. The only thing weird are the people that fucking like it, right? Because anyone with 2 brains...
The show is mainly for kids. And people who are retarded.
It's good old WJ said.
Shout out to Wrestling Jesus here.
But...
Saturday morning slam, not
Saturday night morning.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I just look at this and it's like, he's the one that dug... How ironic. The guy with the fucking golden shovel dug himself this hole, because there is no reason, right? We said it back at the start of February. Why, with 10 weeks to Mania, are you announcing some of these matches?
and some of them don't get announced until like 10 days away.
It is fucking ridiculous. And and I actually I stood up for as shite as Gunther and Jey Uso are, and Charlotte and Tiffany, and even Cody Rhodes, right? Because Cena wasn't there. I said, you're putting them on double one. You're snookering them with the booking.
Yeah, but
you're giving them 10 weeks of build to do fuck all.
Here's the thing. See if the championship titles were defended like they were supposed to. There wouldn't be. You would not have a title match being confirmed until at least the night of Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
But because the titles don't get defended, I mean, you pretty much knew that Jey Uso was going to take on Cody Rhodes or Gunther, and he made his decision straight away.
No.
And there's no belt on the line. Now, if Gunther was defending the belt at the Chamber, and if Cody Rhodes was defending the belt at the Chamber in 2 single matches, all of a sudden there's 4 possible opponents for Jey Uso, and he might not. He might, and you can have Jey Uso basically confront the 4 different people, the 2 champions and the 2 challengers in the build-up from Rumble to Chamber. And he obviously probably wouldn't make his decision till after the Chamber. But because of the way they've done it, you just knew that Jey Uso...
Look at me in the X7.
You knew that Jey Uso good,
right?
Cody Rhodes wasn't going to make
look at me. Look at me in the X7, right? I know it's a fucking big comparison because that's the greatest and this is the worst. But Rock and Austin, right, in that Rumble. Austin wins. Did The Rock for the next 3 months do fuck all and just, great about how the fact... No, he did. He beat Kurt Angle at No Way at 2001, became the champion, and Austin had his own feud with Triple H to, the free stage of the Hell match.
Yeah.
So where is Jey Uso's feud in between the Rumble and Mania? And before anyone goes, oh, but A-Town Down Under, fuck off. I mean, no one can make that work.
But you're right. See that would be like Austin winning the Rumble, coming out the next night and saying, "Aye, Kurt, I'll see you at Mania," and then Kurt just sits around like a spare dick for 12 weeks.
Drinks milks.
Because it's fucking retarded.
No, it is.
It is retarded booking. This guy's at fault.
Triple H is pretending that it's like these guys can be booked into matches. That's the only way these dumb fuckers, man, think they can do make it feel big, drag it out, give these title reigns some time to breathe. See if Cody Rhodes only has 2 defences in 7 months, that means when he takes on Cena, it's going to feel bigger than what it is. They know if they gave you a title match on Raw and SmackDown here or there and actually defended it over PLEs, it wouldn't feel as big because they don't know how to make it feel as big apart from making it drag out. That's what it is. That's why Gunther has not had a feud in between now and here. Like, honestly, it is fucking... It's embarrassing. It's actually embarrassing, and this guy is gaslighting everybody, but thankfully me and you and a lot of people that listen to us and other people can see fucking right through it. He's a bullshit. But they don't insult our intelligence. Why are we pretending that he's working with both his hands tied behind his back and he can't do anything about it? He's the one that booked it.
Yeah, guys never take accountability in his life.
See,
he can't even admit that without Mania and Stephanie, he'd have less world titles.
Yeah.
Now, we can admit that he still would have been a multiple world champion without Mania.
Yeah, I know.
But why can't he admit that he wouldn't have 14? Why can't we meet in some common ground and say that he'd probably have about 7 or 8?
Yeah. No, it's fucking... It's insane, man. It is absolutely insane. Like, you look at... Even every year when wrestling was good, like, you look between Mania, like the Rumble and Mania, and everyone who won the Rumble... right? Or didn't win the Rumble. Look at the amount of matches and like title matches that still would have been involved throughout that entire period. Like a real road to WrestleMania. I mean, we watched 2003 there. It's like, yeah, The Rock took on Austin at Mania, but seeing he came back late January, did he do fuck all for 6 weeks? No, he actually had a feud with Hulk Hogan. We got Rock Hogan.
And then the Hurricane.
Yeah, and the Hurricane. We got that.
Which was great, by the way.
We got that a month before we got Rock. Oh man, come on, what are we doing here? Seriously, it's so funny.
The Rock Hogan and then the Rock Hurricane, which is one of the most underrated feuds of all time. Probably I'd say the Rock Hurricane is the best feud that I've seen in terms of 2 guys that weren't really at the same level.
Yeah. No,
you know the way 2 guys just really shouldn't be feuding with each other.
Aye.
2 guys that aren't. But see wrestling now. Like, see if you look at... I'm not saying Cody Rhodes Or Roman Reigns. We'll go with Roman Reigns. I'm not saying Roman Reigns is The Rock, because he's not. But see someone like Cody, I'm trying to, let's go with Roman Reigns. Let's say he's The Rock, and I'm trying to think of somebody on the current roster that would be similar to the Hurricane. I mean, let's say you go with, like, an R-Truth. Roman Reigns doesn't even know R-Truth exists. See now, see the difference between, see the gap between the main event guys and everyone else? Do you not think it feels like they're in two different companies? It's like two different classes. You know the way in like racing, sometimes you have like you have cars that are in the same race, but they're racing on the same track, but they're not in the same race.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah.
You know the way? They're the class 1 cars.
He's DCM1. He's DCM2.
Yeah, like they're sharing the same track, but they're in a different race. That's what, to me, that's what wrestling kind of feels like today.
No.
And like fucking men and women as well, they feel like,
but look at it. No, think
everything feels like it's segregated.
Look at back in the day, right? Like 98, Austin, wins the Rumble. Then they do that 4-on-4 match in 08. 99, McMahon wins the Rumble. Then he takes on McMahon at, St. Valentine's Day. 2000, you've got Rock and Big Show fighting for like the Rumble spot at No Way Out, right? Even 2 years ago, when Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble, I can't remember who Cody Rhodes took on 2 years ago at No Way Out, or whatever the fuck you called it back then. Chamber. No, remember Roman Reigns though? What did he do? He took on Sami Zayn in between the Rumble and Mania.
Aye.
Because guess who was fucking booking?
Aye, McMahon. And the title was on the line.
Aye.
Aye.
I can't remember who Cody Rhodes took on. Maybe he didn't have a match, right? But you know what? At least you got a title match. Look at last year. What Cody Rhodes do at Chamber last year? Or him and Seth Rollins were on 8-Town Down Under. Fucking garbage, man. This big-nosed bastards ruined it. The only way to make it feel big is by dragging it. That's all they've got. That is all they've fucking got. All they have got. It's pish. Seriously. Honestly, God fucking help us after this Mania. What's going to be the excuse next year when it's back to being like early April?
No, we just need to hope this Janelle Grant shite disappears and they bring back McMahon.
Oh, but McMahon can't last forever. Even best case scenario, like that gets squashed. Which already has been, let's be honest, but they still fucking won't let him back. It's a joke.
If Katie Ficknell come out and makes a case against Triple H, fucking save wrestling.
Come on.
We need it, brother.
Come on, Katie.
Anyway, I think that's where we're going to end it, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. WrestleMania Night 2, the night buzzing, can't wait. Whoa, big match, John. Do it for Fog. Come on, save this channel, save wrestling, save WWE, at least for one night only.
But I just don't see this. I'm sick of talking about it, but what's he fucking on about weird? Oh, we got given too much time. Then he puts over but look, all the Raws on Netflix. That's a good thing. You know what I mean? You've got this mega $1 million deal with Netflix. And let's be honest, folks, how much of the Netflix Raws petered off? The Netflix Raws are not the same what they were in January. You feel like they were trying then?
Yeah.
Now they're fucking shite. I mean, look at that fucking one there.
I mean, the only one that's had a decent main event was the Steel Cage recently.
Yeah, and that's a month ago.
And that was just because they wanted to bring Roman Reigns back.
Everything is just so fucking slow and boring and dragged out, man. Anyway, we're done. What? I don't even know. What next for Gunther? I mean, is he ever going to win a title again?
Hopefully not.
Because like you see a lot of people, like even Kevin Owens has only won one title.
Good.
Sami Zayn's never won one.
Good.
Jey Uso will probably be the same.
Hopefully.
You know what? That's the only positive.
About long title reigns. These guys don't get multiple title reigns.
They'll never be.
It's just not that it really matters, right? Because at the end of the day, we still know this guy's the GOAT. But it would be fucking sickening if people like Jey Uso and Gunther and Kevin Owens ended their careers with more world titles than like Shawn Michaels, Steve Austin, that shit.
I know.
You know?
Imagine Triple H just fucking ripped up after Mania, man. He was giving out world title matches every week. That'd be fucking great.
You know, that's the only thing. But sadly, I mean, you add up the title reigns, I mean, you add up the length, I mean, they'll probably beat those guys. But anyway, that's where we're going to end it.
That's where we're going to end it, folks. Till next time, back later. Night 2 predictions. We didn't do night 1. I think we could have just summed it up, though, with that 5-letter word.
Shite.